VGK fantasy projections for key players this upcoming season. Next on this WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. You could find us wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. NHL Fantasy came out with a VGK top player projection list here for the 24-25 season. And so the top five, we start off with Jack Eichel, 84 points is their projection. I had 77 and a hook, just to kind of make a comparison there. Eichel, a point per game player, pretty much needs to be healthy, as we've said before. For this to happen, Eichel also needs, Chris, his third 30-plus goal season. Is he good for 50-plus assists? I'm curious to see how that shakes out. And I think he had 82 points as a high in his career at Buffalo in 2018-19. He's going to have a banner campaign for him to reach that 84-point mark.
His points per game threshold hasn't changed a lot. Just the amount of games he's playing has changed a little bit. That's been just kind of how things have been since Eichel got to Vegas here. 67 and 63 games in his first two full seasons. Of course, one of those being a Stanley Cup winning year. 54 assists in the 2018-2019 season with the Buffalo Sabres, and then 42 was his high in the 1920 season. So he definitely found his passing touch, so to speak, which he definitely kept going once he got to Vegas. 50 assists, Jonathan Marchessault. I think those two kind of go hand in hand. You look at, obviously, it helps having a 40-goal scoring right winger to get those 50 assists. Barbashev, okay season, but it wasn't a great scoring season for him. And Eichel, I think a lot of those assists will have to come up on the power play. Again, who's the right winger going to be? Is it Stone? Is it Holtz? Is it someone we're not even thinking about? Does Dorofeev make a shift in the wing? Who knows right there? I will take the under on 50 assists, but what was his total output, his projection?
It was 84, his projection. I could get a middle there at 77 and a half and 84. I'm looking for the middle.
Eichel's got to play 77 games to get there, or have a very large increase in his points per game output in order to get there. He can do it. Like, let's be clear. I think he can do it.
Right.
If I'm simply more over under 87, you said 87?
84. He'll need to be more selfish. Would you take Eichel as a fantasy player?
Yeah, I definitely would. I mean, the biggest thing in fantasy, one of the biggest things is called the average draft position. So if Eichel is normally going in the second round, like in the middle second round, you shouldn't stretch and take him in the first round because he's your favorite Vegas Golden Knights player. But the ADP has to make sense, or you have to have a good feeling. But I think it's slightly under 84 points. Not because his points per game ratio is going to suffer a whole lot in the absence of Marchessault. I just don't know if he's capable of playing 72 to 75 games to get to 84 points because he hasn't yet in Vegas.
The Turtle, Tomas Hertl, 67 points. Oh, by the way, we're going to be talking about him in our next segment too. Oh, man. Okay. That's how we kind of promote things. Okay, so Hertl, 67 points in fantasy is what they have projected. I think that's a tad high. 54 games played last season, and he's going to need to score 30-plus goals. How many 30-goal scorers will there be on VGK this season? Do we go 2 and a hook? As I told
you can go 2 and a hook. I think the answer is 0, honestly.
Eichel will hit 30, I think.
It'll be close. I mean, is your favorite going to have a repeat of a season?
Oh, we'll get to him. No,
so
absolutely
I don't
not.
know.
No.
So talking about Hertl, give me that over under again. I was looking at his stats. 67?
67.
How come they don't do anything in a hook? We gotta talk to
I
these
know
guys and get them on
these
the right
guys.
track.
That's
We
fantasy.
don't like pushes in Vegas. I mean, listen, we're going to talk more about Hertl and his outlook on the season, but he
I think
does
I
seem
said
like
that
he's
already. It's all
healthy for
good.
the moment and ready to go. I'm going to take the under just because I didn't see a lot from him last year. Now, we saw a different version of what I think we're going to see this season. But again, now we look at not just Hertl, but the firepower around him. Obviously, that top power play unit is going to be a lot of fun to watch, which is going to have some combination of at least Eichel, Hertl, Stone, and Hannafin, and whoever else is going to end up being. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially the net front presence there. What's he going to do 5-on-5? That's the question I have. Now, I got dragged when I did make a lot of comments about Hertl during last season in the playoffs, and I was concerned about his 5v5 play. And this is where a lot of people, I'm not going to say rightfully so, but they certainly helped remind me about what Hertl, the type of player Hertl is. He's not a speedster going up and down the ice, but he's a good puck possession power type of forward who's going to get to the dirty areas and wreak some havoc. So again, what's going to be around him, I think, is the key. Slightly under 64. I think upper 50s is probably a very good threshold. And if the power play is better than what its 18th overall ranking last season, then he probably does get in the mid 60s. Is your mustache moving as you nod, but the rest of your shirt, is that like a separate piece? What's happening there, Tony?
This is the
3D.
Well, we don't have.
It comes through really strange on the channel. It's driving me nuts, dude. I need more coffee.
It's like that. No, I can't say that. I was going to say that woman that does the walking bets and bounces. That's what I'm doing. I'm bouncing. We've got Mark Stone. Look at that face, dude. Mark Stone, fantasy projection, 64 points. He missed 26 games.
Over.
He's off of his highest point production, perhaps trending of his career before that injury.
My computer's not going. It's not clicking. Okay. Click.
So
nothing's working this morning.
So UNLV, by the way, they play tomorrow against Utah Tech, but it should be a blowout. But this is the renegade UNLV Rebel that they got rid of. They canceled. Remember, they canceled the mascot. UNLV has no mascot right now. So I'm rebelling. I'm rebelling on WTF on What the Friday. Okay.
Stone's playing 75 games this year, and I'm not. When I say this stuff like this is, I want to make sure I'm clear here. I'm not being a bad word right now. Just trying to take the opposite.
Is kind of funky. That is funky, dude.
You see it now? I see it. It moves with the wire, dude. But the stuff in behind doesn't move the same speed. Listen, I'm very high on Mark Stone this year. I do see. I'm saying 75 games. I think he gets at least 70, and I think his points projection will be a lot higher.
So it's kind of fun reading 30 goals.
What's that?
Are you saying he'll score 30 goals? Nah.
No, I don't think 30. Okay. I don't think 30, but I think somewhere, 28 and 40 something, 40 type of assist. I think a big season. I mean, he got 37 assists in 56 games last year, Tony. If he does get to where I'm projecting him, at least in that 70, 75 game range, then we're talking someone who might lead the team in scoring overall. That's the type of scoring pace he's had for the last couple of seasons with the Golden Knights, 38 and 43, 53 and 56 last season. So I'll take the over on his fantasy projection. But again, if he plays 35 to 45 games, obviously he's not even going to scrape that. If he gets even north of 60 games, he does exceed it. So I'm all over on Mark Stone. You like that?
I like that. Vegas Bjorn William Karlsson, 61 fantasy points projected, 30 goals in 70 games 1 season ago. But here's a concern for you. If he's on a line with Holtz and Brisson, don't you think that his point total will be down, his production?
No, because he was on a line with Amadio and Cotter a lot last year, or Amadio and Howden last year. So I honestly think that could be an upgrade. Holtz, good article that just came out from him the other day, by the way.
He might have 30 empty net goals.
Whatever. We're listening. Trust me. In fantasy football, garbage time stats still count, guys, okay? Especially when your team is down by 2 touchdowns and you're just watching the backup running back chunking off 8 and 10 and 12 yard receptions, and You're just like watching, your the comeback happening and everything. So I think William Karlsson will be the benefactor of different line mates. Dorofeev and Holtz, I mean, just throwing that out there right now, that would be friggin' phenomenal. He scored with Howden on his line, so that certainly isn't a bad thing as well. You said 61 and 61, and are we putting the hooks on ourselves, or are they saying 61?
Yeah, we just put a hook on ourselves.
78 career high, 60, but he's also had 56 in 63 games. He had 46, which would have gotten really close to 60. I'm going to say he lands right at 62. He's landing right on 62 with 27 regular goals, 5 empty net goals, and 30 assists.
These are all unders, bro. And then the fifth one, they had Aiden Hill, a 30-win projection. That's way high. That's too high. I don't think he gets to 30 wins. I don't.
30 wins. He's never played greater than 35 regular season games.
That's what I'm saying. These are
again.
All I'd take the under on every one of these.
Positive. Trying to stay positive. 19, 25. No. I'm talking about Aiden Hill right now.
Okay. How does Aiden Hill get 30 wins? Tell me.
19, 25, 27, 35. Last 4 seasons, he has projected upward as far as his previous regular season starts.
It would be great if he does. That's a playoff team if he gets 30 wins.
19, 12, and 2 with 35 appearances last year. If you adjust that to 50 appearances, again, we're talking 26, 25 wins. It's going to be tough. 30. Aiden Hill needs to play about 53 to 55 games, and I don't see that happening. But Aiden Hill can still have a successful season with 45 appearances, getting 27 victories or 26 victories. That's still a very good season based on his career. That said, I am taking the under simply because historical data suggests that 35 games might be all you get in the regular season from Aiden Hill.
Okay, they had some add-ons as well. Shea Theodore, 54. Pietrangelo, 51. 50 for Hannafin. Are we getting too gaga over Hannafin? Dorofeev, 48. Olofsson, 41. Anything stand out of those players?
Yeah, I'm going to make some money on some unders.
Yeah, I think we can make some money on unders.
Dorofeev, I'll take the over on. You said 48, I want to say.
Focus. Yeah.
Hannafin, 50. What'd you say?
50.
At least that's a reasonable expectation, Tony. That's the most reasonable output I've heard. Most people in Vegas are saying 60 points, but it's a bust. Hannafin could get 50. I mean, I think on our podcast about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we said if he gets in the mid 40s, it's a successful season.
Exactly.
I think he can get to 50. I would shade slightly to the under, but that's a bet I would lay off from. Shea Theodore and health, obviously, that's what we're looking at there. If he's healthy, I mean, 42 points in 47 games last year. So if Stone gets 60 games, he'll probably get, again, his new power play role. That could certainly affect that.
Coming up next, Tomas Hertl tells NHL.com that he's ready to go this season. We'll talk about it next right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and to level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and much, much more. Whether you are into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride each and every time, or you get your money back because at eBay Motors, you are burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need, all the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and to bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Back on this edition, Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. please make sure to, again, subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. You need to do that. What are you shaking your head no for?
The mustache moves without the head, bro.
It's pretty cool. I'm going to wear this then to just bother you the rest of.
I'm trying to remind myself if I woke up and
maybe
like
the rest of the month.
if I put something in this coffee that I forgot that I did, but if I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something, a new feature that I just figured out here. I don't know.
This is why you watch the YouTube, folks. Get off the audio. Get on YouTube right now. You don't know. You really don't know what you're missing.
You're missing it. Tomas Hertl was back in Prague, his homeland, and he was interviewed in late August by NHL.com, saying that he's excited. He's had a great summer. He's ready to go. The biggest question heading into this season, will Hertl return to his former self after knee surgery last season? That's the biggest question that looms.
I mean, that's the biggest question for any player right now, as far as, once they get to what Hertl, I think, is right at 30 years old right now, give or take. So
he's so old.
Yeah, I mean, NHL standards, he's getting there. Listen, first of all, before we even get into just talking about the season, you reminded of how you just like Hertl. He has this infectious personality and just seems to be an all-around good dude. Talks about the locker room, talks about how welcoming he is, talks about the chirping, talks about the staff, not just simply the players and everything. Alex Holtz also had an article come out kind of talking about the locker room environment and how positive things are as well. So that's a good thing heading into the season right now. Obviously, once you get all these guys in the locker room and you put a little stress on them, we'll see how they react. But obviously, there's a lot of excitement right now, and it does look like another good VGK locker room. Of course, there's a couple question marks. We'll see what happens. But for now, it's all positive. Back to Tomas Hertl again. Puck protection, net front presence, driving the net, winning every dang faceoff, which is something that he does very well at. And obviously helping get a power play back. I mean, again, you're talking about a Vegas Golden Knights team that lost 80, 90-something goals and nearly 180, 190-something points in the offseason. Tomas Hertl needs to, if for anything, get the power play back on track. And hopefully the VGK power play gets to top 10 status, because that obviously would ease things up a little bit in 5v5. So excited to see the real version of Tomas Hertl, and excited to see how he changes that second line, if you will. Chandler Stevenson's fast, guys. In case you forgot, Chandler Stevenson is a pretty fast skater who very quietly would have 50 and 60-point seasons on the second line with, and at times without, Mark Stone, obviously, for large pockets of the last 3 seasons now. So can Hertl step into that role, whether it's with Stone, whether it's with Dorofeev, Holtz, Brisson, Barbashev, Olofsson? We haven't talked about Olofsson at all. Can he slide into a role that's going to help all of those players? That's the big question mark. But Hertl seems healthy, so that's important right now. And then your buzzword, Tony, our buzzword was mentioned: work on the chemistry. And
we talked about chemistry. Oh my goodness. And McCrimmon gets a quote in this story, said that Tomas would be more settled in this season. And again, of course, he came in. He said it was difficult coming in late. We agree. Everything
off of the
injury. Well, it's crazy that they traded for someone who's still injured. But again, this is the LTIR franchise of all LTIR franchises. Everything was new. He said system was new, players were new. And so he said it's up to camp now to get more chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, again, Hertl, longtime San Jose Sharks player, obviously, just coming in. I mean, it would have been good if he would have followed Pete DeBoer, because the players, when Pete DeBoer first became the coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, a lot of the players were puking inside their mouth in the video room watching footage, because DeBoer, obviously, long time ish, I guess, as long time is in the NHL. Long-time San Jose Sharks coach. So, of course, he's constantly showing video of what he did with the Sharks to show his system and everything. So that might have been a little better for Hertl if it would have happened then. But the reality is it's not how it worked out. And, again, nice long off season. solid locker room, vet with tons of NHL experience coming into a locker room with championship pedigree. Hertl obviously didn't get to that point yet in his career. Maybe he will. I don't know. I hope to see Hertl obviously having a chance to compete for a Stanley Cup. And whether it's this year or one of the next 2 or 3 years after that, we don't know. But I want to see the real Tomas Hertl, not what we saw last season. I still maintain I don't think he even would have come back last year with the San Jose Sharks. I think he would have just been shut down for the entire spring, get healthy, come back in the fall. He was, I don't know. I don't even know. I'd be curious if someone asked him on a scale of 1 to 10, how healthy were you last year? But knowing Hertl, he probably wouldn't even answer the question. He would simply, he wouldn't
Smile.
take an excuse. He wouldn't make an excuse. He wouldn't make an excuse, which you also like in a player.
Yeah.
I say he was about 40% though.
We saw some glimpses of him, of his game.
Absolutely.
Highlight.
Face-offs, net front presence.
Scoring a goal. Yep. What is his role this season? Can he camp out in front of the net? Will we see that patented net front presence? Will we see that?
That's what his game is to a degree. It's puck possession. It's winning those battles on the boards. But he's not a physical presence as far as going out there and delivering big checks, but he is physical on the boards when it comes to board battles. Winning the races, battling for all those 50-50 pucks and everything. Again, things that Cassidy, those are non-negotiables for a Coach Cassidy lineup. So Hertl can certainly do those things. And Hertl, he's a professional. It's been doing this for a long time. So he's not going to have some of the habits that, the newer, younger players are maybe trying to break. So I think we can certainly see a powerful version of Tomas Hertl. Can he get the chemistry? I mean, as much as I hate that word, for a player like Hertl, I understand that word completely. For the rest of the Golden Knights who have been in this locker room for, last couple of seasons, I'm not a big fan of it. But for the new guys, it's going to take some time. And it's not just Hertl. It's Olofsson, it's Holtz, it's Brisson, it's Dorofeev, all these players who have not really had regular roles now coming into a regular role. And then you've obviously got Tanner Pearson. Is he going to fit into this lineup or not? We'll wait and see. A lot of moving parts, but more good than bad as far as Hertl is concerned.
And Hertl says he bought a house here in Las Vegas, which is nice. He's probably in that Summerlin-ish area and enjoys chirping for fun. So we'll see if he has it.
Hertl's fun. I mean, listen, he might be one of the best interviews on the team when the dust settles. The
yeah,
season.
He's a character. He's fun, and he's always happy and smiling.
Yeah.
Coming up next, it's that time of the week again. We're going to talk about the mustache moving here. And
I've got a dynamite WTF. I'm going to see if you found it, though, or not.
Okay. WTF is coming your way next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. You can find all-in pricing. Chris and I both utilize the Game Time app. They have this toggling feature called all-in pricing that you have to make sure you toggle to find. And you get the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. They have seat views, which is really cool. You get that panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And by the way, those UFC Noche tickets have come down. I think the starting price now is only $700 and some odd dollars. It's really ridiculous. The lowest price guarantee or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And you have the Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying any kind of tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. You can create an account and use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will receive $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Use the redeem code LOCKEDONGoldenKnights, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting. We appreciate you making us your numero uno listen each and every day. Don't forget, sometimes we have the Chris and Chris Jr. show, the YouTube exclusive on Saturday mornings. Definitely beats the heck out of cartoons for the kiddos. It's time for WTF. And
I want to start.
And I think Golick's calling an audible. Okay, go ahead.
I'm starting.
Wow,
all right,
you're fired up.
Alex Holtz just sat down with Gary Lawless.
Oh boy, here we go. I have him on my list.
Yes. Okay. I want to see if we got the same thing, though. All right. I think we got the same thing.
Wait. Can I just give you one letter like Hangman? Is there an I? Is there an I? Is there a K? Is there an E? Is there an A?
No, I didn't. I know about the meatballs. I got better, though. I know he talked about the meatballs.
Oh,
No.
man. That's
I
on
got
my
better,
list.
though.
Okay.
So, again, it's a really good article getting to learn a little bit about Alex Holtz, number one. I'm not at all saying anything negative about the article.
Propaganda. It's propaganda,
No,
bro.
I like the article. Again, it's
Your new favorite player, like one of your new favorite players.
I didn't say he's my favorite player, but I like getting to know
This
things
is
about the
how
player.
we
I think it's
feel.
a good article. But
Okay.
the end of this article, this is where Tony is absolutely gonna lose his blank.
Meatballs.
At
He's
the
gonna
end,
lose
they
his
start talking about a little more about food and stuff, and about the Vegas food. So Gary Lawless, when you used to come to Vegas as a visitor, where did you like to eat? Alex Holtz, it seems like we always played Vegas on the second of a back-to-back. And then the second part of the article. Are you excited to play at T-Mobile Arena? Yes, Alex Holtz is super excited. I was thinking about it last year. We played Vegas after we played Arizona. This is like the ultimate Tony WTF right here. He references the back-to-back coming to Vegas and playing after Arizona. So
yes,
WTF, that was for Tony right there. That was for Tony. I got one more for later. You go.
That's a good one. No, I like that one. But again, I'm asking, is this propaganda? Because earlier this week we heard Mark.
What
Stone
are they supposed to do, Tony? What are they? It's time. These are the perfect articles right now.
These are propaganda.
This is his job. This is Gary Lawless's job.
This is propaganda. Well, he's the only one.
It's a good article. It's a good article. It's not propaganda. It's part of the world, man.
Okay,
it's a good article. It's a good article.
I'm sure they got their clicks out of this one. Of course, Mark Stone got a ton of pub with that article that they wrote. And again, anyone that writes off VGK, they're only more or less motivating the Golden Knights. But remember that initial article, he said they. Mark Stone referred to people as they, whoever they were. They're writing them off. And now it's all about media. It's come back to the media, and it's come back to articles that he reads that are writing off VGK. And then I've got to take that shot at Alex Holtz. Holtz was asked what Swedish food he misses, and he says Swedish meatballs. The IKEA line, I'm telling you, it is real. It is happening, and it's going to be, those guys are going to be in aisle 17 at IKEA every single day. Every day. WTF.
They're building a new IKEA kind of by Durango, kind of close over there, kind of not far from City National. So
there is one there already, isn't there? Is that
one? Now there's gonna be another one, I guess. Now there's gonna be another one.
Oh wow.
All right, so my WTF here. Reading a couple articles, and this is more me, and Tony can defend himself, but saying I've been negative and stuff like that. And negative about the upcoming season and all.
You've been so negative.
Well, I will concede. Like many Golden Knight fans, I threw my hissy fit when Marchessault left. I hated the Logan Thompson situation, how that played out.
Yeah.
But again, that was also back in July. Now it's September the 6th. Obviously, we've had time to digest all of that. And for the last 3 weeks, and definitely the last week, I've been talking about how excited I am for the upcoming season.
You have
the storylines, all the different shakeouts that are going to happen as far as the forwards, what's going to happen in net, how McCrimmon is going to improve this roster throughout the year. I've talked about Mark Stone. I'm not BSing. I think Mark Stone has a very big year in here, big year coming up. I'm excited to see Tomas Hertl. I dumped on Tomas Hertl, obviously, in the spring because I didn't like what he did in the playoffs. A lot of people are defending, saying just wait till you see the healthy version. Okay, cool. I mean, Kelly McCrimmon, as much as I dumped on him in the offseason, McCrimmon knows what he's doing, and his credit rating should not change one iota based off how last season finished up. So more excitement coming into this season. Can this roster, using Mark Stone, I guess, as an example, who's been making the media comments and things like that, is this roster going to rise above all of the comments and stuff? You got a pissed off captain coming into a season 2 seasons removed from winning a Stanley Cup. This is a good thing. You got players trying to make the Four Nations face-off rosters and things like that for their home countries. So a lot of great storylines. Excited to see how it all plays out. VGK is back to the VGK. It's not VGK versus the world anymore or everybody. It's VGK versus the media apparently. So the locker room is going to be a little bit spicy, I guess, coming up, especially early in
articles. We don't read anything.
So WTF, I am excited for the season. It is legit excitement. I'm not here just fluffing for whatever reason. I am excited to see how things play out. The season can go so many different ways, just like the mustache on Tony's shirt going a different way than the head on his shirt. But the season can go it could be a terrible season. It could be a great season. They might win a Stanley Cup. They might struggle and make the playoffs. And I can make a case for every one of these scenarios reasonably happening. Long story short, I am excited for the unknown. So WTF people who think I'm negative about this season, it's just the opposites.
No, it's more propaganda. Thanks, man. Thanks for feeding into that. And even when I'm positive, people say I'm negative. They say I'm negative. WTF, after listening to yesterday's show, the Anaheim Ducks go out and sign Oscar Dansk.
I saw that.
That's pretty funny. So a 1-year, 2-way contract. Good for him. So he'll be goalie number 3.
Oh, wait, you mean, were you referencing the Ducks? Listen to our. Did we talk about Oscar Dansk? When they signed him or something? Or?
No, we just were talking.
You're saying after the show it happened. Okay,
how bad Gibson was. I had him, ranking at the bottom.
Well, Dostal is the future there.
Dostal's the future.
Dansk is probably going to be in San Diego Gulls, right?
Is that San Diego. Okay, so we've got more WTFs from you, the listener and viewer. T.A. Neiman, WTF, is it just me or has the VGK Twitter account been way less active than the other teams this offseason? I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but all the social media kids that I know were around the world, man. Maybe they were in Prague with Hertl. I don't know. No, you know what? I think she's got a point. I think she has a point today. It has not been as active as the others this past.
I missed one of the very first media, Twitter, social media people, because VGK was sending out an apology tweet like once a month. It felt like, because whoever was doing this account was walking the line. It was amazing. It was like Wendy's. It was like Wendy's just dumping.
I can't think of his name. Everyone knows who that is. And he went to Arizona, and then they folded there. So he was out of a job and did he did a wanted ad, I think on Twitter.
Hope it all worked out because he was good. I liked him.
Oh no, he's the best one.
I don't know who it was, but I love the content back then. I love the spiciness.
He got in a lot of trouble there.
They made a comment like the visiting team scored a goal and the entire press box started cheering. He had to apologize for that too.
We've got Hubert Jakar, WTF, unpopular opinion. Seth Jarvis took the deal with deferred compensation. The same thing. Marchie refused to stay here and not moving his family. 1 point for the medieval empire, LOL. And then our guy, John Price, 1 day closer to the season starting, 1 step closer to birthday toast with Locked On Chaps in Vegas in April.
Chaps.
And at Darth Tommy 774.
Oh boy.
WTF, same sort of a deal. Not seeing much media hoopla from VGK so far. Are they being tentative because they're not expecting much? Am I paranoid? The hype machine is starting to roll now. One of your new favorite players, Holtz. It was a Sprouts, right? Mark Stone showing up in the Sprouts parking lot. Sorry, I gave Smith's a shout out. I still call them Smith's Food.
Wasn't it your car that died in Smith's? Maybe that's why you got confused.
My car died in Smith's. It did die.
I got a flat tire the other day. That was cool.
Where at? Where were you? Were you driving?
West side, like Trop and Fort Apache.
Were you driving or just?
Yeah, I was driving. I pulled out from where I get my sports cars and stuff, and I started driving. All of a sudden, I hear this weird ding. I'm like, what the hell's that? And I look down, and my tire monitor's flashing 0. I'm like, that's a problem. I made it. There's a couple tire shops. One was busy. They pumped me up. I had to go around to the other one, and I went to Flaming Fajitas. Actually, had a nice lunch and a margarita, and played some video poker. So it actually worked out pretty well.
Are you on the west side of town? That one?
That's where I do my business for my cards and stuff.
I know, but Juan's on the west side?
Yeah, West Side Wands,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's the OG. I haven't been to the OG in a while. I've been to one in Henderson a lot. The OG one's still pretty good too.
It's very good. We appreciate everyone tuning in. We appreciate Chris's food
Wands is a
recommendation.
sponsor. They got VGK. Call Juan. You got a guy, Tony, don't you? Call Wands. Give him a call.
Got a guy that's got a guy.
We'll work for Wands.
Okay. We appreciate you tuning in. Of course, don't forget, subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy the football and everything else. Hockey season next week already. Rookie camp less than a week away. The one-day rookie camp preseason. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next week right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.